Hello, good evening. You're watching the Cheese Room podcast. It should be the Monday show, and it is titled the Monday show, but it is Tuesday. This is because I was stuck at work Monday. Sorry about that. So I'm very much looking forward to this show. And joining me, I've got some absolutely wonderful guests, some OGs of the Cheese Room. Joining us first, all the way from the Amazon, is Brendan in Brazil. What are you drinking tonight, sir?
Hi, mate. Yes, I'm just back from my Mexico-Panama trip. COVID-free, didn't get killed by narcos or anything. I'm drinking a michelada, which is a Mexican drink where it's sort of crushed lime and the rim is a mixture of tajin and salt and ice and beer. And it's very refreshing. So
It sounds lovely. And Brent, if we get to 100 likes, will you show us how to make such a cocktail?
Absolutely. Even like I'll do it anyway. But yeah, get 100 likes and we'll have
Don't do it anyway. Don't do it anyway. Let's go for 100 likes. we need all the help we can get. Guys, hit the like button and Brendan will give you a cocktail masterclass. What more could you wish for on a Tuesday night? Probably more appropriate for Friday, but anyway. Joining us from Vienna, he is the Harlow Globetrotter, and he's in a good mood as ever. How are you, HG?
I am in a good mood as ever, as always. I mean, there's no reason to be in a bad mood, but yeah, life is all right. It's cold, but lockdown is ending. The end is in sight. So, yeah, Spurs win, no lockdown. Christmas is coming. My mum's wealthy. Fat. Life is good.
Brilliant. And as ever, a regular fixture now on the Cheese Room with a wide selection of cardigans.
Oh, no, it's a jumper.
Oh, okay. I take it back. It looks very cardigan-y, Christmassy. So I was actually complimenting you. Cardigans are very fashionable for a man of a certain age. I'm just digging a hole here. Still looks good when he's knackered. John, welcome to the show.
Hello. I had a really, really good weekend. I went to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and we won. Happy days.
I know it's a strange feeling, isn't it, when you actually go to a Spurs game and they win these days? It's joyful. So well done for that. Well done for infiltrating the real Cheese Room, and welcome back. Made it back in one piece. So absolutely fantastic. There is so much to get through on the show tonight. I don't even know where to begin. We've got COVID outbreaks. We've got to look back at smashing the Canaries up in their cage. We've got to look ahead to Rennes. And I'm excited because, you know, watching the under-21s play Rennes will be brilliant. Where do we even start? Let's look at Norwich. HG, Tanganga was in for Royale, and now we know he had COVID, and that's why he was in for him. How did you think he fared? And will Doherty's next start be in front of a crowd at a panto?
Well, thank you, Dave, for that lovely intro. Yeah, it wasn't good, was it? Look, Tanganga clearly has proven to everyone now that he is not a wing-back. Nothing against Tanganga. It's just not his game. He's not designed. He's not practiced. He's not. When has he ever done that? Do you think he's ever played wing-back in his life? I can't imagine it. So it's all about, Antonio Conte is now figuring out what the players can do, and I'm like, just needs to talk to people. Maybe the players. Like, have you done this before? But Tanganga.
Tell me, Yafet, have you ever played wing back? No.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, every single player may well just say, I want to give it a go. But look, he wasn't better with Doherty on the pitch. There's no way around that. So I don't blame Tanganga. But Doherty should start against Rennes and possibly even, given the way things are going, he may well start in the next league game too.
Yeah, danger. We might actually see Doherty at his real position. Fancy that? That'd be interesting. This is a good question, actually. We're going to get into the COVID discussion later, but I'll just ping this one for later. Surely they've all got to isolate now, especially if it's Omicron. Well, hold that thought, Kerry. We will come back to it later in the show. John, what about Stevie B as a wing back against such feeble opposition?
Well, we might need him up front at this rate if we keep losing players. I'm not sure. I think Doherty actually played quite well. Williams was causing Tanganga all sorts of problems. He didn't have a clue how to handle him. And as soon as Doherty came on, he just kept pushing him down the wing. And Williams didn't want to use his left foot. He wanted to cut in every time. And it really nullified the whole threat. So, and also going forward, he did quite well, didn't he? He created the chance for Kane, which ended up leading to Sanchez's goal. So I think he deserves a chance based on that. Hopefully, this is Doherty coming out of Victor Moses. I'm not holding my breath, but but he certainly is better than I've seen him play in the Spurs shirt, which I know a low bar as always, but it was much improved.
Brent, we were really slow at the blocks again on Sunday. What is it about Spurs being slow starters? It just doesn't seem like we can get going.
Yeah, it's a strange one. It's not strictly a Conte thing as well. We were like this under Jose, I think, as well, and carried on under Nuno. It's strange that we I don't know if it's the stadium, but there does seem to be a lag in our first half. I think we were showing like the stats where we wouldn't get a shot on target in the first half, and we eventually got there in the win over Brentford, but over Leeds even. But yeah, it's odd that we are slow starters, and I don't know if it's nerves or fitness, but I think we're slowly getting it out of our system. Even though obviously Norwich, we did give them a bit too much space. We didn't have the intensity in that first half. We improved second half, but it's a strange one. It's hard to put your finger on why, if it's fitness or tactics or just the mentality thing.
Yeah, interesting. HG, Reggie off, Sessegnon on. Doesn't look, if you look at Reggie's social media, doesn't look like he's hurt too badly, and says don't take him out the fantasy football teams. What did you think of Sessegnon's performance? Do you think he's got a future in that system at Spurs?
Yeah, yes. I mean, he's designed for a wing back. He can't really defend, he can't really attack, but he's got some pace and can maybe do damage. I mean, he's got good technique, Sessegnon. I've always said that. Like, I think if you give him in time in front of the goal, he can find the goal. But it's just about getting him in the right area to do it. And as a winger, you're not really there either. And as a fullback, you're certainly not. But Reguilón came out and said that, yeah, as you said, not to take him out of the fantasy team. You'd suspect that Reguilón, if he's fit, will play against Rennes. And you suspect if he's fit, he'll play against Brighton too. So Sessegnon, because of the stupid red card in Slovenia, when is he again? I mean, that is a good question, because the West Ham game, you probably don't want to risk.
He's waiting for Reggie to get injured, basically, isn't he?
It may well be. I mean, the Morecambe game will stand out now, but it's a shame, because I think he played well. He needs more time around the first team. He was certainly more ambitious, and he played as if he belonged, because a lot of the time we've seen him play for Spurs, and he's always been a bit reticent to get involved. And I think he took on Max Aarons a few times and was at least willing to stretch him. And he's been very safe in his Spurs career until now. So I think it was nice from Sessegnon. He got a good hour playing with the first team in a Premier League game. It may well have been probably the worst team in the Premier League, but still he proved that he can be a valid part of the squad against against weaker opposition. So you can't knock it, but you just have to hope that at 21 he's finally realizing that he has to kind of take charge of the situation and not just allow things to happen.
Still so young though, 21. How old was Kane when he broke into the first team?
Yeah, and that's the same with Skip, and that's the same with quite a number of our youngsters. Really, like Kane was 21 when he started playing. They need the opportunity, and with Reguilón in front of him, Sessegnon has time to kind of get used to what Conte wants. He's not going to be expected to do too much. But when you're playing Premier League football at 17 or 18, as if he was, that the quality is there. As bad as Fulham were in that season, the quality is there. It's just about, I think, maybe for him to really believe he belongs at a club the size of Spurs, because up until now, you get the impression that he doesn't feel that way, and that it is a bit, overawing for
him. John, Lucas Moura, I nearly said Mora, but then I realised I've got Bren on the show, so I had to call him Lucas. What a banger! In fact, no, I'm going to give this Bren because he absolutely loves the guy. He says he doesn't, but he's Brazilian. You could give your view too, John. Chip in. Goal of the season, Bren. Your man Lucas finally coming good, is he?
Well, time will tell. It was a good sign to see from him. I think everything about the goal, not just the hit, but the footwork, the interplay with Son. It was a beautiful goal and got the crowd going. So yeah, probably so far. Trying to think of any better goals this season that we scored. So yeah, it's certainly up there, and it's encouraging for him. We know what we're getting with Lucas. He's gonna put the effort in. He's gonna run. That's probably why Conte's picking him all the time. Well, because there's probably no other viable option either. But the fact that he does put the effort in, we know he's limited. We know that he keeps his head down. He's limited technically, but the way that he hit that was a beautiful hit. So keep it up, Lucas. And he's the most goals he's ever scored in a league season is 10. Let's see if he can improve that this season.
Absolutely. John, what did you reckon to Norwich in the first half?
It's interesting. I on the drive home heard a guy phone up on the radio and saying that he was a Norwich fan. They had us in their back pocket, and we were lucky. I thought, well, Pookie should have scored after about 6 minutes, shouldn't he? He had a shot from about 8 yards. And apart from that, they had one other chance that Pookie toe poked wide and Ida should have scored. It was worse missing Achimovic, to quote HG the other day. But apart from that, they kept the ball, but they didn't do anything with it. I don't know if Conte set us up to play on the counter, but that's what happened. And we must have created more chances on Sunday than any other game we've had this season, I imagine. Yeah. Because we had so many chances in the end. Kane had 4 alone. But yeah, Lucas's goal, absolute world class. Definitely our goal of the season so far. Hopefully we'll score a few more better ones. But you're right, the interplay, his footwork to begin with. I thought he'd lost the ball at one point, and he just managed to get Son, cut back, and that hit was unbelievable. Because Tim Krul is a good keeper and he's a tall keeper, and he was nowhere near it.
He always turns it on against us as well. He always has a worldie against us.
He does. But the weird thing is, 5 minutes before that, I mean, we hadn't really been in the game, apart from Skip had a drive, hadn't he, from the midfield, and they're just midfield and defence just opened up, and you just kept going. And I suddenly had this thought, is he going to score against the team he was at loan last season? Because that happens quite a lot. And unfortunately, he didn't quite catch it right. So then Lucas just second time lucky, ping, never getting near it.
Lord of the pings. Absolutely, his quality. HG, Sanchez's goal. Sanchez scored. A lack of celebration. What did you make of that then? I mean, he's been, as is the run sheet, Frank Spencer-ish most of his Spurs career. What did you think of his non-celebration? Bit weird. I thought he'd be really happy about it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think it's one of the things. It just fell to him, and he's just stuck his leg at it. But I think not as if he's made a run to the near post and got there before.
Oh, I think I'm losing HG a bit.
Can you hear me? You seem to be
breaking up a bit, HG.
Yeah.
Jump in and out again. But just quickly on the Sanchez thing, I'll jump in. The Spurs social media Portuguese language version, when he scored, they put up quite an interesting meme. It was like saying, now you're going to talk about him, or just sort of something, because basically he understands that he's not the most popular player among the fan base. I don't know if they listen to podcasts. I'm sure they do listen to the Cheese Room, but you know what I mean? Like, I think that he was aware that he's not as appreciated as other players in that defense. And I think that celebration was a reaction to that. And the meme from the Spurs sort of Portuguese language Twitter feed was a reflection of that. It was sort of like
how do you like me now?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Like now you're going to talk, talk about me now, something like that. Yeah.
Sorry. I like it. I love this one. Sanchez assisted Lucas's goal and scored. Did he assist?
Well, surely Son did. No, Son did, because he played a 1-2.
Adrian, sorry, that's incorrect. He might have played the pass. He might have done the pre-assist.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yeah, I thought that Sanchez was having a bit of an Aurier game up to then, because he kept diving in when he didn't need to, gave away a couple of free kicks. But yeah, he. I mean, if he did that from 30 yards, he'd have gone in, wouldn't he?
I
It was
am
so hard.
pleased for Sanchez. I am pleased for Sanchez because he does get some shit, doesn't he? Speaking of getting some shit, there's 46 people watching. I'm not sure how many likes we're on, but I'll guarantee it won't be 46. The reality is this: if you want a cocktail craft masterclass, hit the like button. Brendan is going to show us how to make a Brazilian,
Mexican
cocktail. Of course, it is. It's got a rim thing going on. So that was.
What sort of show is this?
You're talking about Brazilians and rims, and I'm all nervous now.
I'm moving on. John, back to you. Conte chant.
Oh.
Do you think the supporters have really? I mean, the supporters were just relieved he's not Nuno and wanted a world class manager. But is that a sign of how they've taken to him? I think it was on Spurs Twitter feed today. They were singing Antonio and all of that malarkey.
I was singing it in the stadium.
Well,
the whole South Stand was singing that, and I was at the North Stand, and it was so loud. Is this a good time to mention Antonio Cam? Caller, do you want to mention that?
Well, Antonio Cam is doing very well. And if you check out our YouTube channel, Conte Cam, yeah, whatever. Conte Cam is doing brilliantly. I think we've got a mole within the bench, pretty much, and who is filming this for us. So if you haven't checked it out already, do check it out. It's on our YouTube feed. It's the accountant, Mr. Diver.
I'd say he's more of a badger than a mole. I see him as his animal spirit more badgery than moley.
Steve, if you're here tonight, defend yourself. Are you a badger or a mole? Let us know in the comments. Is he badger or is he mole? Either way, he's providing some great insight into Antonio Conte. Do check that out on the YouTube channel. It's done like nearly 80,000, 79, 80,000 views, which is just phenomenal. So if you haven't seen the footage already, it's there for all to see. I think he's celebrating Sanchez's goal, and it's a little bit more celebratory than Sanchez. So there you go.
Yeah, and he gave me a tour around the cheese room as well.
Yeah, can I just say, Conte campaign for Caller's next trip to Dubai. It's not. Every penny we get from the cheese room goes straight back into making the cheese room even better. So don't you worry about that, Phil. I can fund my own little trip to Dubai. Not that I'll be going away for a while with a new baby due in January. Back to you, John. So any more to say on the Conte chance?
Oh, that was brilliant because we don't have enough chance. The Norwich fans were giving us so much crap. Is this the library? And we've got about 3 songs. We don't sing the Harry Kane song anymore. We don't sing the Deli song anymore. We've lost Jan. We haven't really made any of the new players any songs. So it was nice to have a song. Obviously, Poch had gone. Nuno never had a song. Did Jose have a song? I can't remember now. So it was nice to have a song that was something different. And he kept giving the old thumbs up and waving at the fans, and
he loves it, doesn't he?
Made the last 10 minutes really good.
He loves the hero worship.
It's a pretty good sign that we do not have a good relationship with our players. A manager of 6 weeks has his own song, and everyone's all keen to sing it. Son surely should have his own song by now, not just some kind of regurgitated bollocks that other teams use, like actually a proper song. But he doesn't. It's crazy.
It is a bit crazy that Son should have a song. Absolutely.
I think we're not very good. We're not very good, are we, at doing songs? I think that's the problem. Although I remember some of the ways on the early pods, Caller, some of your songs were quite interesting.
I do remember actually around this time of year, Franco with it's the most wonderful time of the year. It's always stuck in my head. And any time I'm at work and that comes on, I think of that show. We should probably look it up and retweet it out. Cody, this is something that isn't in the run sheet, and I wanted to talk about tonight. How about the Benaissance left centre back is having Ben Davis energy? What do you think about? I mean, I think I know what you're going to say if I'm honest, HG. But what do you think? Ben Davis, is he going to be kept beyond the end of the season? If you're still with me, you're breaking up quite a bit. Yep, you there? Yeah,
no,
cool.
I'm here. I can hear you. Why would you let him go? Like he may not be first choice, but he's clearly comfortable to do what Conte wants him to do in that position. We talked about this on previous shows. Ben Davies is your kind of defensive left back, or weirdly enough, with a bit of with a bit of extra cover, he can move forward from that left centre-back position. He's never going to be the world beater, but he's been at the club a very long time. He clearly cares about Spurs. You'd think he's probably through by this point, just without the social media channels to go along with it. But yeah, we can't argue with what he's done. He looks a much better player, even if the system. I mean, I've talked about this before about other players. Systems matter to players; they absolutely do. If Ben Davies isn't the fastest, well, you can have two centre backs next to him to make sure it's okay. If he gets done, then maybe the wing back can get back in time. It's all about giving your players the best platform to thrive. It doesn't matter whether that's Pochettino in charge or Mourinho in charge or whoever. Every manager should be thinking, how can I get the best out of my players? And the system that Conte prefers gives Ben Davies the chance to do just that.
Yeah. Bren, are you a Ben Davies lover now?
It's hard not to like him. Just like all the things you were saying, his demeanour, been at the club a long time, a nice guy. He's playing well. Long may it continue. I think if we can upgrade on him for the left-sided centre-back, we should. But for now, he's doing well. And it's strange seeing him go forward as much as he is as well. And it's sort of something maybe that we pulled out of the Sheffield United playbook, the sort of overlapping centre-backs. So it's great. I'm happy for him. I'd still, if we could get an upgrade in January, I'd still go for it.
He's got a lot in his locker, so he is. It's my worst Welsh accent.
You're half Welsh as well.
I'm half Welsh as well.
Guys,
yeah.
Guys, Kerry King is watching, so please do not offend her with your Welsh accent, caller.
Shumai, Kerry. Son, the Son goal. Is this what we're going to see more of from Conte, John? Playing in patterns, counter-attacking football, great finish, easy finish, really. But there just seems to be much more movement and attacking prowess than there was under Nuno, doesn't there? Can we expect to see more of the same?
Hopefully. Obviously, against better opposition, it'll be tougher. But the interesting thing was, as Brendan said, Davis was much further forward. He was making those runs forward. And it was his little run. And Cess played to Davis, and Davis broke through and then passed it to Son. And then Sonny just did what Sonny has done for years. And now he looks like he's up and running with a bit of he's 2-2, isn't it, for him? So hopefully he's up and running. What I noticed at kickoff, because obviously when you're behind the goal, you get that very tactical view, don't you? And formation-wise was how narrow Lucas and Son were. They were literally, they weren't even within the penalty area. They were closer to the centre, the D, if anything, width-wise. And it's very much he's relying on the fullbacks and then the centre-backs in the wide areas to push forward a lot of the time, which I found very interesting. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how we do against Leicester and Liverpool if the games go ahead. I think there's a very good chance Brighton won't. But Liverpool's one that worries me big time, I have to say. Hopefully we'll have all the players back by then. But if we can get something out of that game, I think real strides forward.
Yeah. We are going to talk about COVID a bit later in the show. So I know a couple of people have been asking for us to speak about it. We absolutely will. Kane still shooting blanks, Bren. He just doesn't seem to be. Is it confidence? Does he need one to go in off his arse? I mean, that ball that Skip put him through the other day was just at gilt edge, wasn't it? And we're no closer to a goal now than we were then. What's going on with Harold? What's he need to do?
I think the difference in the last few games is that we have been at least seeing the chances. Previously, he wasn't even trying. He wasn't even making the runs. So there's progress. I think he's sort of naturally a competitive person. I don't think he's playing within himself too much. It could be a confidence thing and maybe a hangover from losing the Euros final, but he seems to be banging them in for England okay, but against weaker opposition. I don't think Conte's too bothered about it. As long as we're winning and as long as he's contributing, which he is, then it will come eventually. The chip he had as well, like there was a chance against Brentford.
The chip, yeah.
With the chip in the first half against Norwich. It was another one where you're like, yeah.
He's going to score, yeah. I mean, very similar to the goal he scored against Newcastle earlier on in the season, though, wasn't it? I think that chip. that went in completely offside trap.
Goalie was less close to him than against Newcastle. But yeah, it was just the vision. He had the right idea. So eventually it will fall in. But it's what, December now? He's on one goal.
That's pretty poor, isn't it?
It is. It's by his standards. But I still think with Conte now and the way we're playing, that we are much more attacking. We are seeing those patterns of play that we love. It will come. It will come.
Norwich going down, HG, do you think?
Yeah. I mean, like the goal scorer is a 32-year-old Finn. I don't know where the goals will come from if he's not scoring. He should have scored against us and didn't. They've got to take the chances. So, I mean, January is a big opportunity for them to maybe find a goal scorer from somewhere. You never know. But if you look at the table right now, like Norwich look goners. Newcastle have the opportunity to maybe do something. Burnley might struggle. But yeah, like goal scorers they're everything in any league, really. But you'd have to think Norwich are, I mean, and they would know this, Norwich are probably odds-on favourites, if not certainly the favourites right now to go down.
John, your view, Norwich on the way out?
Yeah, I think they'll go down. They'll go down. And I think HG's comments about goal scores and everything. I just wanted to talk about Josh Sargent. And was that the dodgiest haircut that I've seen in the Premier League this season? I mean, that was like Kevin Keegan wants his back from the 80s, I think. Hasn't he played something like 13 games and not scored? He didn't look like he was going to get anywhere near scoring against us either. He'll probably score in the return game. The other random thing, completely non-tactical, when I was at the game, their kit looked orangey, like fluorescent orange, but on the TV it looked bright red. I was very confused. Was anyone else at the game and couldn't agree with me? Was it my eyes or is it the TV? I don't know.
It was horrific. Yeah, it was awful kit.
Yeah, it literally looked like fluorescent orange bib.
The funny thing with Norwich and their strikers, it's really no different than Spurs' strikers when Nuno was in charge. They don't get close enough to goal, really, to say that they have chances to miss. Like we talked about the chances that Norwich missed. I mean, that shows that we weren't great, but their midfield worked all right. Obviously, Billy Gilmore is a class player. You have to acknowledge that. And I just think if they can keep the ball and get it further up the pitch, then maybe Norwich have a chance. But like the goal that Son scored, he got it within the 18-yard box. To do is find an angle and he could shoot quite easily. If Kane has that opportunity, it's going to do the same thing again. So it is about getting your goal scorers into places where they can score. And although Josh Sargent is new to the league and wasn't really prolific in Germany either, as a Norwich striker, if you're not getting the ball in areas where you can score, it's tough really to blame the strikers for doing it. Like Pukki is first choice. They've got a young Greek kid as well, I think called Solis, something like that. That Greek kid's apparently really good. They seem to have bought well, but it's just if they can't get the ball to those strikers, then it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you have up front.
Bren, do Norwich need, I should say, a rallying call from Delia right now?
It was so cringe, wasn't it? Bless her.
Yeah, they're having you. Come on.
Yeah, no, they're gone, and they're fine with that. Like they're the quintessential yo-yo club. Like then they go down, they come back on the parachute payments. They consecutively, what's the most they've been up for 3 seasons, I think, if that. Like they usually go straight down or down the next season. So fair play to them though. They're still there or thereabouts, but they're happy to be that yo-yo club. So I don't think their fans are too bothered. I think they're probably enjoying the ride.
I actually say I don't think they'll come up next season. If they go down, I think they'll struggle because the better, like when they went down the first time, a couple of seasons ago, they lost Jamal Lewis, but that was pretty much it. Like and Godfrey went to Everton, but those are the two. But they're attacking, and obviously goal scorers. They kept Wendia, they kept Cantwell, they kept Pukki, and so because the three of them could then fire them back up to the Premier League. Now that Buendia's gone, you assume that Cantwell was going to go because he won't want to go back down to the Championship. Then Norwich might look, even with your parachute payments, I think it might be a struggle for them to come straight back up again because it is about the team that they had, that young team that got them up 2 or 3 years ago that had Aarons and Godfrey and the players I've mentioned. They'll have all left.
Oliver Skip.
Well, Oliver Skip obviously got them up last year on loan and they've got Gilmore this year, but Like how much did Oliver Skip really play to get them up? Looking at them now, you'd think it's quite a lot. He was able to keep Norwich obviously have decent players for the Championship, but having someone like Skip in their midfield obviously meant that they could play on the front foot a lot, and they were just again giving those strikers an opportunity to score. I mean, did Norwich come up as champions? Did they win the Championship last year?
I think they did, yeah.
I mean, Brentford came up in the playoffs, and so who was it? Watford? I don't know who. Probably Norwich
Watford
did.
was second. Yeah, Norwich did win the Championship, yeah.
So when you look at look at the team now, right? Compare it to the team that won the Championship the year before, which I think was Leeds. That Leeds team looked good enough to stay in the Premier League as soon as it got there, and did and was. Norwich has never looked good at the Premier League level, so it's a real struggle for them. And it's nice to come away having not played that well as Spurs, because we didn't play that well, but we got a comfortable 3-0 win, and that they are gold dust. Spurs over the years have struggled against those weaker teams, and 3-0, it's nice. It's really nice.
There's 75 people watching, 40 likes. Please get to 100. I want to see how Brendan mixes his mojito.
I just did one now, like hidden. So
if you want Brendan to reveal his secret recipe for his rim, then please do hit 100 likes. Few comments talking about Oliver Skip and Max Aarons. Let's do the Max Aarons one first. Max Aarons, would you be all out for him, John, having seen him live in the stadium?
It would depend on the fee. Before Sunday, I would have said no. But I was actually quite impressed with him. I think he did all right. I know Seb said on the pod, the pod's very good. We listened to it. I listened to it on my way to work yesterday. Seb said he didn't think he played well. But seeing him, obviously when you can see the pitch when you're there, you can see a lot more. And I thought he played Skip pretty well. Skip had to keep coming inside. I don't know. Obviously, Skip's probably not Skip. Sessegnon, sorry. Sessegnon's probably played against him a few times over the years and just didn't really want to take him on. I think Aaron's had the measure of him one-on-one, and he had to try and keep coming inside. I thought going forward, he looked a lot better than Tanganga. Mind you, so did Doherty. So I guess low bar again. But yeah, I was very impressed with him. My issue would be Norwich will want a lot of money for him, and will probably find somebody equally the same level or better for less money elsewhere. Probably from Serie A.
Like when you think, when you think how important wing backs are to Conte's system, like to be fair, like I'm not sure he might see Emerson Royal as being that first choice to do what he wants. I think he might even want to try and improve on him. I don't think Max Aarons is an improvement on him. So like just because of how he wants to play, I think that Conte will want better than Max Aarons.
And this is the other thing. So, Kerry, shout out Kerry, channel member. You can grab your channel membership now. Details are in the description. Skip obviously was brilliant for him last season. How good's he? He's turning into a hell of a player for us, isn't he, Bren? I mean, I called it 3 years ago that he was going to be the future of the midfield. What are your views on Mr. Skip? Are you you're getting confused, John. There you go. What are your views on Mr. Skip?
Yeah, he's probably our star player at the moment. He's been man of the match the last couple of games, I think, and he sort of sets the tone for the rest of the players as well with his energy and his vision. He's probably certainly our most important midfielder right now. And yeah, it's great to see. Like he's one of our own as well, and what they call him they're
singing that. There you go, John. There's a song. He's one of our own, Oliver Skip. There you go. Just apply it to him.
They probably will.
The Ruislip District. I'm from near Ruislip as well, so he's sort of from my neck of the woods where I grew up. And he's been superb. And we sort of had this debate last season when he was tearing it up for Norwich. Should we get him back early? Should we have got him back in January? But then HG made the point that if he had come back in January, maybe Mourinho would still be in a job. So maybe it all worked out well in the end. But it's great to see him. He's doing superb.
Skip, one of our own, HG. You're a very tough judger of character and players. What is Oliver Skip bringing to this side, in your opinion? And are you excited about him?
Yeah. Because again, we've seen in the last couple of games, he can do a bit of everything. We saw the game against Brentford, the pass he put through to Kane. Like if Dombele had done that, we'd have been, yeah, of course he can. But Skip did it on the run, and it was inch perfect. With Skip, I mean, I think with a lot of players, it is all about confidence. When you realise you're good enough to play Premier League football week in, week out, and we're seeing it with Skip now. He's got the confidence of the last couple of managers. I think Mourinho had confidence in him too, but he's recognising that, yeah, like now that I'm kind of, again, under Nuno, he was the middle of the three central midfielders, asked to really just kind of sit and protect while the others were given the chance to go forward. Now you're seeing a bit more of the all-action Skip that maybe some of us are surprised about. But it is clear that he's got the engine to play central midfield. He's got the composure to play it. And so I think really it's more just a case of he might have to bulk up a little bit. I mean, he's not the biggest, but he's not a small player by any chance. So you have to hope, and I don't hope, I expect that Skip will be a mainstay of the Spurs midfield until he decides to leave. I think it really is down to him. We could have him for a decade quite easily. He may not turn into the central midfield players of the decade, but if you're going to get someone like a Scott Parker for a decade, I'm all right with that. Scott Parker didn't score that many goals. Oliver Skip may not score that many goals, but as a midfielder, and there was a thread on Twitter that I saw someone posted about some of the things that he's done in the last couple of games, and just showed like the decisions he makes, and how like he knows when to keep it tight, and he knows when to spread the ball, and he can find passes that kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like it takes out a couple of opponents just with a simple like sideways pass. If he gets it right, then the gaps are there in the other areas of the pitch for other players to use. If you've got that vision to do that, I don't care if they're sideways passes. They're not 5-yard sideways passes. They are designed with the team in mind, and Skip is just going to get better and better.
No, I totally agree, and I'm so glad I spotted his potential so long ago. Let's move on from gloating. COVID has hit Spurs, has been highlighted in the comments numerous times already. Not great, is it? Are we expecting the Europa match to go ahead and Brighton at the weekend? And while you do that, I'm just going to mix a drink. So, yeah, be right back. Bren, let's go to you.
Sure. I think that Rennes is going to go ahead. We sort of saw the UEFA rules and the 13 players, etc. And to be honest, for me, that's the least important of the games coming up. We'll get into Rennes, I'm sure, but I don't know what the Premier League rules are when it comes to players being out. I think Brighton have quite a few players out. I don't know if it's COVID related, but they've got 9 players out. We will have around that as well. So, what about you, HG? Do you know what the Premier League rules are in terms of players being out? I know that they are talking to the Premier League about the game. I think it works in Brighton's favour as well, as the Burnley call off worked in everyone's favour. I thought this one probably will as well.
I think if Spurs have 6 or 7 players, even if Romero's injured, but still, if we've got 6 players that are unavailable, I think if we ask the Premier League, can we postpone it? They will say sure, as long as Brighton agree. I think it's in Brighton's interest that we postpone it. It's weird because obviously now Spurs are going to be that team that have all these games in hand that have to be played at some point in the season. But if we lose against Rennes and we're out of the Conference League, well, there's a whole bunch of midweeks that are opened up. So it does make sense to be like, look, if we can, and plus we've got the Leicester game, the Liverpool game. There are other games. The Leicester game might get pushed as well. You have to think at some point it's better for the league if one of our players ends up infecting Brighton players or Leicester players, then it's just going to go through the whole league quite quickly. You can't risk it. So I do think it's in Spurs' interest to get the game on Sunday postponed, even though that will ruin my Sunday. What am I going to do? But it's only Spurs, right? I mean, I think the thing is that there are other teams this season that have had players out through COVID. I've seen Arsenal fans complain because I think in the first game of the season against Brentford, they had a few players out. But this is not just 2 or 3. These are it's a significant part of our squad, and like we're early enough in the season now where there will be dates at some point where we can play this game. There absolutely will be. So I think it's worth the risk of saying no, not right now. Even if Brighton have better players by the time we do play the game, so be it. right? Let's hopefully our better players will be back, which is why we'd want to postpone the game. Let's see what we can do with Son and Kane up front, and hopefully our best 11 available.
John?
Yeah, I think adding to that, HC, hopefully we'll have signed a couple of extra players by then as well, with better quality. So it might work in our favour that way as well. There's always a couple of free midweeks, aren't there?
Rodon could play against us.
Really?
Well, unless we loan him with an obligation to buy, and then
if we loan him, then he can't. Levy will be on that. Brighton, you can have him, but he can't play against us. That's smart, John. That's really smart.
What he did with Defoe, wasn't it? Defoe couldn't play against us that first season because he was loaned. Yeah, I think Ren's going to happen. I think there's a good chance Brighton get cancelled. The less chance, but it just depends what happens. I'm hoping they're testing all the players every single day at the moment, rather than is it twice a week normally? And we can just go on.
Sorry, I mean, I don't know the rules in the UK, but I've heard about 10-day quarantine. But I've heard, certainly over here, or I think I've seen it in the UK too, that like after 5 days you could test out, and if you were not or some I don't know if
rapid release or whatever it's called.
Yeah, but I think if rapid release you didn't have it to begin with, right? It was just to prove that you didn't have it after you'd arrived.
Yeah,
this might be different if they've already got it. But
if you've got it, it's 10 days. That's that.
Guaranteed. Okay, well, so this is it. Like those 10 days, they might affect the Leicester one. It's not good in any way, because you look at the players that are apparently out, whether it being Lucas, he's played a lot of times this season. Obviously, Ben Davis is one of them. He's been the Renaissance, as someone said earlier, under Conte. So it's rough, but it does make a lot of sense, I think, for everyone that we just say, you know what, I would give up our 2-week winter break. Do you know what I mean? Like there's that 2-week window in February where apparently we don't have games.
Oh yeah.
So like that, there's certainly time there. I don't think Spurs would care personally about giving up a weekend off, just to play a game that they could have played earlier. And with the Burnley situation, we may well have no choice.
And this is the other thing: if it's the transformer that is Omicron, you've all got to isolate. So hopefully it's not. I mean, there haven't been, in terms of Omicron, that's by far the rarest top form of COVID right now in the UK. Obviously, it's going to take over by the looks of it eventually, but I would doubt that it'd be very unlucky if it is. But who knows? I'm sure it all will be revealed. We'll have to find out some more information tomorrow, because we've got the press conference from Ren. So we'll see what Mr. Conte has to say about that. So therefore, looking at Ren, Bren, how does your team stack up then? We know the people that are probably out, the 6 first teamers.
Do we know? Do we know for sure the 6 or 7 that are out? That's the thing. Like we do, it's not official. So
it's not official, but it's widely spoken about. So if we make those assumptions, then who do you pick? I suppose
I need to see them written down. I would pick the kids. I'd play the under-21s, which is what we should have been doing all bloody season with the Conference League. I'd play the under-21s, give it a go. If it doesn't work out, we'll miss out on a final in Albania in May.
So the players, Bren, that are out, according to sources, Son, Lucas, Davis. Oh no, Davis. Romero, doesn't matter anyway. Emerson and Hill.
Okay. Well, then you're talking Ndombele, Ali coming back in, Kane. This is the only sort of strike option up front. Probably Galini. I like the someone said we should play Galini because there's no way he's caught that great little joke in there about Galini. But yeah, to be honest, I know I've got a pod about it on Thursday, but I'd be happy to see us go out. It's just we don't have the strength in depth. It's not the right time. I fully get the winning mentality and stuff, and we have to keep winning. But I would be happy to see the back of this. Have more time to see out these Premier League games that are stacking up now because of the COVID situation, and go all out for the league and domestic cups. The lineup, we kind of know what it's going to be. It's going to be a mismatch, and they probably won't put in the effort. So
Sorry.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, otherwise, I
Couldn't
know I got
resist
that
it.
wrong.
Couldn't resist it.
Yeah, I don't know.
And do subscribe. We're so close to getting 3,000 subscribers. One of you lovely people watching it today could be the 3,000th subscriber. Hit that subscribe, hit that like button, because I want to know Brendan's cocktail secrets. We've got 92 people watching the show right now. I think there's about 50 likes. So please do smash up that like button. There's enough of you in the room to give us Brendan's tasting cocktail tips. Just smash that like button right now.
Can I add one thing to the Ren situation?
Of course,
right?
you can.
Obviously, there are a lot of fans that don't want us to win, and I get it, right? I do. Ren are second in the French league right now, and their game at the weekend coming is against Nice, who are fourth. So it's a home game, basically it's almost like a Champions League 6-pointer for them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we won't all hope this, but I would say there's a pretty good chance that Ren may well play a few of their kids or a few of their squad players, because there's nothing on the game for them. Right?
Yeah.
It's how much they care about the prize money they might get for winning, but that's about it. They know they're going to top the group. That they know that they've got that with the round of 32 they won't have to play in. So yeah, for me, I hope that Ren do play a bunch of their squad players and make it easier for us. But yeah, considering our situation, it may well be squad versus squad. I don't know, but like I do want Spurs to make it through, because that increases the chances of them being in Austria in February or March, which is pretty much all I care about. Let's be honest.
So self-centered. So self-centered.
Do you think
absolutely?
Sorry, caller. Do you think there's a chance, actually, because we've got so many COVID cases, Ren might look at this and go, we don't need to win. Let's just not risk our top players, because of the risk they'll lose some players themselves. So why not just send
That's a great point.
a reserve team?
That's a great point.
The game no one wants to win.
The game that no one wants to win. It's possible, isn't it? It's definitely possible. Let me ask you this, John. Do you care about the Conference League, and do you want us to go through? Because surely right now there's an argument to say it's probably not that important.
Because I usually work Thursday night, I always struggle to see the game. So I always struggle to get a little bit of love for, whether it's Europa League group games or even the Conference League. At the moment, looking at the bigger picture, as we discussed earlier, Conte had that Chelsea team with no Europe. He had a free run. And I think it would be such an advantage to not have those games. Well, we're going to need the weeks at this moment. Yes, the coefficient will be helpful, because we're finally above Arsenal, aren't we, this season? Although they're getting no points. But if it means we've got a good chance to get Champions League, I'd happily forego the knockout stages and take a couple of days of shit on Twitter from West Ham fans and Arsenal fans. I don't care about that. I'd rather get
guaranteed, to be honest. That's a guarantee.
Yeah.
The best way to shut them up is to, get top four.
Jump in.
This sorry.
Go on.
This thing from Craig. No, we don't have to win by more than 2 goals if Vitesse, Vitesse have to beat our score by 2 goals, right? So if we win 1-0 and Vitesse win 3-0, then Vitesse will finish above us. That's the situation. Our goal, basically our goal difference is better than theirs, and it won't go into, head-to-head, because the head-to-head is, in effect, is the same. They beat us at their ground, we beat them at our ground. And the away goal rule that there used to be doesn't exist anymore. So it basically is, if we finish level on points, it's going to be goal difference, and Vitesse have to beat ours by 2 goals to go through. If we win, if we both win 2-0, then Spurs will go through. If we win 2-0 and they win 4-0, then I think Vitesse will go through. But it's based on that. Sorry, Brendan.
No, my thing was with the games. Like I said, we always want our team to win, and so we can see both sides to this. I think that we look at our competition for that top 4 place. Mainly, so we're looking Man United and West Ham, both of which are still in Europe, and I think that will help us if we do go out. I'm fine either way. I want us to win. If we win and we go through, fine. But there are benefits to going out as well, in being able to focus on the league, on that top 4 chase. We still have domestic cups to fight for as well. So don't think we're saying we should throw the game. It's a very sort of loaded phrase to use, but I wouldn't be jumping off the skywalk if we go out. Maybe look, if we win and Vitesse win as well and go through, then it's kind of like we still won and we're out of the competition and we can focus on top four. So there's two sides to it, and I can see us. I think we should focus on the league. It's knowing what Conte can bring. He didn't have a pre-season. He needs more time on the training pitch, so let's give him that.
It would be very Spursy if both games finish a draw and we sneak in that way.
Well, I mean, look, if we get in, that means just another fixture, doesn't it? So,
yeah,
I
it means
suppose...
I'm still in a job. I do the midweek pods, so.
Oh, so there's a hidden agenda there. I knew it. HG, you bothered
About what?
about going out?
No. Well, so am I bothered? Yes, I don't want to go out. And maybe it's for selfish reasons that they might come to Austria.
Is that the only reason, though? I mean, forget the fact you live in Austria.
I want Spurs to see themselves as a club that can compete for 4 competitions, not to be one that says, okay, well, we'll go for 2 this year because we're not very good. I understand that it might be better, but to me, it's a mentality thing. I want to win every single game. Players have said many times before that what they like doing is playing and what they like doing is winning. And if they're doing that and confidence is high, then that's going to help us. Not like imagine you train all week and then you lose at the weekend. Like that's going to be soul destroying. I'll ask Norwich about that. So I just think like games, regular games. Yes, we don't have a deep squad. Yes, there are issues, clear issues. But if we do get a decent January, then you just never know. I'd like to see us go as far as possible before losing, because that's what happens every year. But I do want that. I don't want to subscribe to the point where games just get in the way of what we want to do, because games are what we want to do, right? That's how I want to view it.
I mean, we've got the League Cup coming up against West Ham soon as well. That's not really an important trophy, but again, I guess
but you want to knock West Ham out, if nothing else.
Exactly. Yeah.
For me, that supersedes conference.
Hang on, don't get yourself in a tiz, because the prize for the Carling Cup, or whatever it's called these days, the Carabao Cup, is a ticket back to the Conference League.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
If you win the League Cup, you go into the Conference
League.
That's your reward.
It's not Europa League anymore. They've devalued the League Cup.
Yeah, so
who made that decision?
That's what happened last year.
The Cup has been devalued even more.
Had we beaten Man City in the League Cup final last year, we'd have got Conference League. That is how it is now. There are 4 Champions League teams. There are 2 in the Europa League, which is going to be the FA Cup winner and the 5th in the league. And then if you win the League Cup, you get the Conference League. That's your reward now.
Well, it's still, as a cup, it's still probably a better cup than the Conference.
Certainly.
The Conference.
Yeah.
I want Spurs to get to the finals. I've got an Albanian pen friend, would be an excuse to go. Yeah, but I don't think you get in the stadium, because I think the stadium only holds like 20,000 for the finals.
22.
Yeah,
and half of them will go to UEFA.
Yeah, so almost no chance of tickets. ECL is our best chance of a trophy this season. That's negative, Terry. Come on. Surely our name's on the cup this year, one of them.
The Essex Senior Cup, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, as Craig says, beating West Ham in the quarters, Arsenal, Spurs, and Chelsea in the final means so much more. But there's surely we're in with a shout for the League Cup, even though it only gets you back in the Europa Conference League. And obviously, we draw Morecambe in the FA Cup, which I'm sure the Shrimps are very excited about that. John, are you excited about Morecambe?
I have a feeling the players are a bit distracted because they lost 5-0 to Sunderland this evening. And Sunderland have not been brilliant this. I mean, I think they're in the top 3 now. League One?
League One.
No, Morecambe, we're in League One. Blimey, they've come up a bit.
Was it League Two?
League One has done the research to talk about Morecambe.
No. When I remember playing Morecambe in the conference when I was following Telford United years ago. So all I'm saying is, blimey, they've done a lot better than Telford.
They are now 1 place above the relegation zone in League One.
Okay.
There you go.
And Sunderland, who I thought hadn't been doing that well, are actually 3rd. So
there's a point here that Azzy says Milan are out of Europe, so that I'm assuming that means they finished 4th in their Champions League group, right? because that means they won't have any Europe at all. So those players like Kessie and Romagnoli, who have got 6 months on their deal left, in theory, if we were able to sign them, they would then be eligible for the Conference League. They wouldn't be cup tied. So if you went, because it's a different competition. Like if your two clubs end up in the same competition, then you can't play. But if they don't, and Milan are obviously out of Europe completely now, well, surely that just means you put money on Milan to win Serie A. If they've got no distraction now.
Yeah.
But I'm
sure Kessie's always dreamed of playing in the Conference League, and that will be one of the reasons.
I think for the money that we'd be paying him, he wouldn't care. Just like Dombele doesn't care.
Yeah, true.
I noticed Dortmund are going to be in the Europa League now, so hopefully they'll deal with West Ham.
Dortmund in the Europa,
and so Leipzig.
Leipzig as well.
Well, I saw some of the big hitting teams that are going down to that cup. I mean, it's
Sevilla. It's their cup, isn't it? The Europa League.
Cup. They own it. Yeah.
And Atalanta.
But possibly. They're possibles, aren't they? Right? Because they play tomorrow. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a tough competition, the Europa League, isn't it? Really tough competition these days.
It's tougher now. Absolutely.
Right. What's Brad doing? Brad's got Brad, check us a cocktail. Show us how you make the cocktail, mate. We're not going to get.
I'm going to get the stuff, mate. Cocktail.
Yeah. I want to know. I'll say switch the camera off.
Because he's gone to get it. He's gone to get the stuff.
Okay. I'd laugh if he gets a ready mixed thing and just pours it in.
He's got a little umbrella like he's Del Boy. I'm sure of it.
Light up flamingo. HG, biggest European night in the stadium since Ajax at home.
Who have we played since? I couldn't tell you. It's a knockout tie in effect, isn't it, for Spurs? So maybe, because I think when we played, who did we play last year? Antwerp in the group stage. I can't even remember the other teams. I genuinely can't remember who we played. I know we lost to Zagreb and we beat them. But yeah, the fact that it is kind of knockout makes it feel that it's a big game. But
some decent sides could drop into the Conference League: Rangers, Celtic, and Napoli. So Napoli could drop into. Could be a decent side.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I'd imagine, you know what UEFA are like. There's going to be some kind of seeding system. So, like, even if it'll be the 8 third place teams from Europa against the 8 second team from ours, home and away. But you'd imagine they'd have some kind of seeding system that would maybe keep us away from Napoli. But yeah, I'd take Rangers now that Gerrard's gone. I'd absolutely be okay with Rangers. I mean, that's you'd have to think that we would be good enough if our mind is set to it. But I think under Conte, Conte's record in Europe is actually pretty bad.
Yeah.
So like the odds of us winning whatever competition, if we do stay in the Conference League, the odds of us winning it, I think, are probably quite slim. Because Conte, as has been shown, does tend to not do so well. Maybe prioritizes domestic himself anyway. But yeah, it's like until we know what the situation is. But I would rather be in the hat, and then we'll play the game when it comes around and see what happens. If we get 4 easy draws and get to the final, then we're laughing, and that is always possible.
And of course, Steve Diver with his Conte Academy is praying for us to get through because it means he gets another free meal ticket. So I'm sure he'll be, I'm sure there's lots of people in Premium hoping. Bren, have you got all your equipment?
I do. I'm just going to give it a minute or two because the beers look like if I open them now, they might freeze. So just give me a couple of minutes.
There's beers involved in this drink.
Yeah, it's a beer cocktail. Yeah.
Oh, really? I am genuinely actually quite interested.
Totally not listening to anything Brendan has said so far tonight. Mentioned beer right at the beginning.
I was too busy reading Dave's beautiful run sheet.
This is what I saw. I have no idea if this is true, but this is from Cody Mack. So apparently it's.
So I would imagine if it's come from Cody Mack, it's probably true because he's quite reliable.
Like I find that incredible to think that G would play G, but maybe I don't know.
G is Celtic in the Europa League.
Yeah. So if Celtic's group have who else is in Celtic's group?
No, it's Celtic are finishing third. They can't finish anywhere else. Yeah, and the Conference League.
So if it's Celtic, then I'd take that as well happily. But that would be an odd one for UEFA to give up the excitement of a UEFA draw And to decide it now would seem very odd. But yeah, if Cody
That
says
would
it,
seem odd, yeah.
Well, should we? I mean, should we be very worried about the Cody? There you go, tier 1. There he is. Should we be worried about the fixture pile up then? I mean, this could be horrific if we get COVID. No, you say not?
no, I mean, like again,
I don't think they'll abandon the winter break though, Chief. You know,
no,
that's.
but I don't think they need to. There's always a few extra midweek games towards the end of the season. Now, obviously, they're not that many, but the chances of Spurs making it all the way to the final of the League Cup and all the way to the final of the FA Cup are always slim because we've never done it. Right?
Well, they're slim for every team, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. So there are going to be options. If we get knocked out of the FA Cup in the 5th round, then the FA Cup 6th round weekend becomes available and the semi-final weekend becomes available. There are always times to play those games.
It's a couple of classics. Might face Joe Hart in the Conference League, and Cameron Cotter-Vickers apparently is their best recent signing. So the level in Scotland is high, or as Conte would say, the level is not so good. Yeah. Anything the comments you've seen, guys? That's my content done. So over to you guys. What do you want to talk about?
I'll do the cocktail.
Yeah, you did cocktail.
Right. So
Right.
you have your glass.
Do the cocktail.
Yeah,
Have you
I'm
glass?
interested in this. Yeah,
Lime wedge
Long wedge.
along the rim of the glass.
So he's rimming it.
He's rimming again.
You get your plate with tahine. As I promise, this is the only plate of dodgy powder that you can get in Mexico.
What is tahine?
Tahine is like sort of salsa in polvo, like powdered sauce, if that makes sense.
What could you use if you were in England and didn't have such
You go to a Mexican shop, you just use salt. But the tahine just gives a little bit of extra kick. So then you make sure your glass is fully rimmed. Ice. Nice. And this is like one of the greatest inventions ever made, like the lime press. Do you guys have these in England?
Got a garlic press. It'd probably do the same job.
How old is that thing?
It's pretty old, yeah. So here we go. Hang on. Right, so squeeze the lime. Oh, shit, I didn't do this over my computer probably.
Yeah, to be honest, you should be like, you are the cheese room's answer to Delia Smith.
Thanks.
Must be having you.
Hey!
More.
There we go. And the beer.
I hope you're following along at home.
I mean, I make cocktails for a living. This is a lot of faff.
Any kind of beer in particular?
I've gone with Amstel because remember it used to be the Champions League beer
Yeah.
before Heineken dominated the world.
I mean, Amstel is made by Heineken, so it's the same thing. Really.
Yeah.
And
there we go.
Fred, forgive me if I'm wrong. Apart from a bit of a rim, what you've got there is ice, lime juice, and beer.
Yep.
So basically, you've just like got a Corona bottle and stuck a bit of lime in the top, like they do in a pub.
Yeah.
And just squeezed it in.
But you got the rim.
Didn't need.
Can we
And
stop
the
talking about rims, please?
Can we just say Sandro will be impressed?
I missed
Yes,
Sandro,
Harry.
hit the like button.
HG, remember his team had the COVID outbreak and they had to abandon the game against Benfica when they were 7-0 down. So he sort of posted on Instagram a picture in black and white of the team saying, I'm posting this in black and white because without competition, there is no color. Without fair play, without health, there is no color. And so I sent him a message from all of us wishing him well and saying that the team will come back stronger from it. And he sends his thanks. So he'll be back on soon.
Oh, good. Very good. Your mate, Sandro. I like Sandro. He's the beast. And he is on my wall over there behind the bar, actually. So there you go. January transfer window. This is a good question. How many signings will we make? I've seen a report this week or a tweet or whatever it was that said this is going to be our busiest January transfer window ever. I thought, Christ, it hasn't got much to beat. John, how many ins and outs are we going to see in January? Let's speculate a little.
Okay, I originally thought 2, but I'm thinking or 2 or 3. I think we might see 4 ins. Outs, probably similar. Might be 5, might be 3. I think we'll see loans mainly going out. I can't see us selling many players.
Yeah.
Okay, HG?
I have no idea, but I want to be optimistic. We're going to have 6 in, 3 out.
Okay. Bren?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who it was. Was it Footy Insider or something that was saying that we'll have 10 transfers overall? So on average, 5 in, 5 out. Probably a bit ambitious, but that's what Fabio Paratici was brought in to sort out. So I agree with John. Outgoings probably we're going to probably loan players as opposed to sell them. We're not going to get a really high fees for the likes of Dele or Winks. So they're likely going to go out on loan and see what magic Don Fabio can work in his Rolodex of contacts in Italy and see what we can bring in. So yeah, I'd say probably knowing Spurs 4 in and 4 out.
Well, let's hope we're balancing the book. There's a lot of expectation. My worry is there's an awful lot of people on Twitter expecting very big things of the January transfer window, and I think it's slightly foolish to buy anyone for big fees in January. So I don't think that's going to happen. But there you go.
Who said they were going to be big fees?
Yeah, doesn't it be big fees?
But people. No, I'm not going to go into it. People want Spurs to splash the cash. That's all I'm saying. David Harris, bless him, the master of the run sheet, is in the chat. Will John be buying another jumper in January?
What? Because I got a new one today.
Is that brand new, John?
Brand
new,
a week or so I bought
just for the show.
Not for the show. I did buy it in a certain supermarket that the man above me might work in.
Asda.
There was a sale.
Alan Thompson says, and he's our resident Geordie fan. So Alan, bless him, turns up every week. He's a Newcastle fan. So I hope you're making him feel welcome in the chat. Unlike Craig, who I see 2 comments below. I'm hoping we're going to stitch up Newcastle and sell them Winks and Delhi. As an outsider looking in, what would you consider a success in the Conte Premier League or a top 4 finish every year, or the domestic cups? So I guess it's top 4 finish because we're not going to win the Premier League in a hurry unless we radically change the squad or be a cup team. What are you saying, HG?
Well, success is top 4. I mean, this year certainly. Long-term trophies obviously are what we want, but for this year, I think everyone thinks that top 4 is weirdly enough almost more likely than winning a cup. Given the way the league is going right now. So to me, for this year, I'd say top 4.
Bren?
Yeah, I think his question is more like overall from Conte. So overall, yeah, Premier League. Like next year after, when he's had a pre-season, get some signings in, get the team that he wants. Why not? Let's aim high. This year, yeah, top 4 would be great. And the FA Cup, because the League Cup doesn't give us fuck all. So the FA Cup,
as we've established during the course of the show, yeah,
which I found out 20 minutes ago. But yeah, like this season, realistically, top 4 would be superb. Next season or the season after, if he's still around, Premier League, because he shows that he is a domestic. That's where he focuses his efforts is in the domestic leagues, and so yeah, let's get the Premier League.
John.
Yeah, top 4, definitely top 4 this season would be a very good result. And then we got to see what happens over the summer, and if he does get backed and we get the signings in, so he can get a good squad, not just the first 11, a good squad. Because I think the aim's going to be in January just to get the first 11 up and maybe the odd squad player. The summer's going to be about overhauling as much as we can of the rest of the squad so that next year we can really challenge. And I think we should. There's no reason why we shouldn't, unless the money doesn't come and Dave will get his narrative back.
No one wants that, Christ.
No.
Will we bring a striker in this window?
Bloody hope so.
Yeah.
I think we will. 100%. 100%. Excuse me.
May not be a great one, but we will have another option. Absolutely, we will have another option.
Would it be Icardi?
I mean, I've seen the comments. Look, yeah, Icardi is a dressing room wrecker. So that wouldn't be a great move for Spurs. But it's all. I mean, Conte. I mean, where was Icardi before he went to PSG? I forget. Inter? Was he at Inter? Yeah. So didn't Conte sell him to PSG? Like, surely that would be enough to be like, no, Icardi is not going to be a Conte signing. Surely Conte would have sold him. So I can't see that one happening. But yeah, there are strikers. I've said this, that there will be people out there that will be a better option than Dane Scarlett, and that's nothing against Dane Scarlett, but he's not ready to be a backup for any Premier League team, not just one of the size of Spurs. The poor kid's just 17.
Can I just jump in on that on Scarlett? Oh, sorry, Brent. What Scarlett needs?
The best Icardi that we can get is the one you're wearing, John. Is the best Icardi we can get.
Hey! He's here all week.
Go on, John. What are you going to say?
Listen to the pod. There'll be loads more on Thursday of those, won't there, Brent? What Scarlett needs is what's happened to Skip. Skip has bulked up massively from when he first came in the team, hasn't he? He's definitely had the Gareth Bale treatment, and that's what Scarlett needs to get in that gym and bulk up big time.
He's a unit, is Skip. I was thinking about this earlier when you were sort of saying he needs to get a bit bigger. I don't think he does. I think he's hench.
No,
I think the kids on the street.
But
he doesn't get knocked off the ball.
I'm 6'3". It's difficult for me to find someone who's that size that I don't think, oh, the little man, right? Like it's just I can't like unless he's like super muscular, spends every day in the gym. A 5'8" guy. I mean, no offense, John. I know you're that size, but like a 5'8" guy is small compared to me. I am sadly larger than I want to be, but it would be weird. I look at anyone who's 5'8" and think, oh, if they're so little.
Leprechaun. The current
I didn't say that.
They're simply not good enough for top 4. Top 6 is more realistic. Next year will be the year. And why not? Why not top 4, Brent?
Yeah, no, I think if we'd have played Burnley and beaten them, we would be top 4 right now. So, and if Chelsea had held on against West Ham, we'd be top 4 right now. So, we will make signings in January. I agree that the squad needs improving, but the competition is what West Ham and Man United, and I think we can compete with them. Man United will see how they respond under Rangnick, but I think we have every chance with Conte at the wheel. Jeez, I hate saying that phrase, but with Conte in charge, we've got a world-class manager. We've got a few decent signings in January. There's no reason why we shouldn't be getting top 4.
Oh, here's a good question. Kerry, will Bale come back? She's just obsessed with Welshmen, isn't she, John?
I don't... unless he takes a massive pay cut, he's not coming back.
Do you want him back? Do you want him back? A question to all three of you. I'm going to come around the room. Will you want him, yes or no?
It's really, I think his fitness is my biggest worry. He'll score goals for us, and that's something we've not been doing. But
we
really,
have a couple of games. Conte's addressing that, isn't he, through the system? So.
Yeah. I think the 2 wide players need to be quick because Kane's not quick and Bale isn't that quick anymore. So unless he's going to play him in the central role as a striker, which Bale doesn't really want to do, I'd be surprised. I mean, he might say, bring Bale in and we'll change the other 2 and play slightly differently. But I'd be surprised if he comes in unless Levy just says, unless Bale said, I want to go back to Spurs. I've got a nice golf club up the road and he wants to semi-retire and take $100,000 a week maybe.
All right, HG.
Will he come back? No.
Do you want him back?
If other players were available, then I would take other players. But I do think we need someone who can score. We talked about Bale a lot. Only scoring against the lesser teams. If we don't have Conference League football, then those games against lesser teams will have disappeared. A lot of them. But I just think for someone with the ability to do what he did, and he did it last year for us, which was put the ball in the net a number of times. You can't have too many of them. So I don't want him to come back and be like the first option off the bench, maybe even the second or third option off the bench. But someone with the quality he had, the goals he scored, some of them were struck with such venom, and he made it look simple. I don't think that would have changed. But the idea of putting all your hopes on Bale, no, he is a second/third choice for maybe what Lucas is doing right now.
I agree. Bren?
I'd probably say no. Like Hasty says, if there are other players out there that we can get, I'd go for them. We are very nostalgic as a support base. We always hark back to the good old days, and I think we need to let him go. Let's. I think we need to see what else is out there. Who else is out there? We know he can hit a great goal. He didn't really turn up in the big games when he played for us last season, and that would be the worry for me. So. Yeah, probably no.
If someone like Kulusevski was available, I'm on the Kulusevski train. I think he would be perfect for what Conte tries to do. But yeah, like it's as far as Real Madrid are concerned, any wages they don't have to pay is good for them because he's out of contract in the summer. So they last time we had to pay half his wage or 40% of his wage, which was still a lot of money. This time it might be less because Real Madrid will just be like, look, we'll take 30%, 20% of his wage. But it to me is if you can't get the ones you want, then what have you got to lose for half a season? Really, what have you got to lose? But it's not a deal I'd be looking to make.
I think that's the thing. What Paul's put there, Conte doesn't have any passengers and Bale isn't fit enough for the system. I think nail on the head, really. I don't think. I'd take him on loan, I really would, but I would have this concern that he just wouldn't fit into the team unless he's going to play centre forward, and he doesn't play centre. He doesn't want to play centre forward from everything we understood before. So,
you could probably get Bale, going for 30 minutes if you're chasing a game and you need a goal. Then fine, after an hour, on you go, do what you can do. Then you don't necessarily have to worry about him being fit for the whole 90 minutes. He could easily turn into a super sub. But it's just not, it's like what United have done with Ronaldo. They brought someone back. Yeah, Ronaldo is scoring, but it's not a long-term move for them. It wouldn't be a long-term move for us. It's kind of, if there's nothing else that's possible, then it might happen. Because this person is right. Bale is still class. Absolutely, is still class.
Yeah. Dave says, "What if Paratici goes to prison?" Well, I guess we don't sign anyone then.
Give the job to me. Steve Hitchin has already booked his holiday for January, so I'll go.
I hate January.
But yeah, I don't think if Paratici goes to prison, it won't be until next summer at the earliest. I don't know what they're like. Do they investigate previous crimes that happened at an earlier date in Italy? Because I hear in the UK they don't do that anymore. So you never know.
We investigate old crimes. It's just if they've already been to court, we don't investigate them again. Terry says, thoughts on Stevie B as a backup striker? I think it's ridiculous the man can't finish. Can I just say, Terry, for my money, you're on the money because he can't. He couldn't hit a barn door. Bren,
nor can Harry Kane currently.
True, John, true. Bren?
He doesn't have the physical stature, at least, to be a central striker. So,
got a lovely little moustache.
He has got a great moustache. It reminds me I've got a personal trainer out here, and he looks a bit like Stevie B. But yeah, no, it's not the right position for him. He doesn't have the physical. Sonny even struggles as the focal point up front. So Bergwijn will struggle too. I think it's going to be one that we may look to ship out on loan in January.
The thing is, we've seen Conte put Tanganga at right wing back, so him thinking that somehow Bergwijn could become the next number 9 or a backup striker. Yeah, it's like, he was right, I think, in saying that Bergwijn has the quality to play in any of those 3 positions, but he's not going to be the same type of striker that Kane would be. He would be and again, Kane leads the line, but the other 2 are so close to him now that the 3 do kind of work as a unit. And if there is one thing that Bergwijn has shown is I do think he's got good close control. that is quite a girly drink, Bren. It really is. Just the way you squeeze it.
Basically, he's turned the
just
lager
put the
lime
in your hand and do it that way. Squeeze the lime.
You get more juice out of the press. Sorry.
That's what Conte's been telling his players. Yeah, I think it's crazy. John, are you with us? Stevie B, would you have him up top?
At the moment, until we find a backup striker, Kane cannot play every game, can he? So I guess Ren might be the time to give it a go. Is he one of our list? He's not, is he? He's potentially available, we believe. So yeah, give him a go. I'm not convinced he'll be able to score goals for us, but needs must.
Yeah,
I think this is spot on from Phil. Bergwijn is possibly make or break in the next few weeks. If Son and Lucas are out with COVID, and he does have to play games, then it's honestly, it might be the time. It might be his time to shine.
The thing with Bergwijn, like he could score 2 or 3 goals in those games and still get sold in January, right? I mean, like if we're thinking about selling him in January, if those rumors are true, what he does between now and then probably isn't going to change anything. That's just how I see it. If we've made that decision already, if Conte is just trying to sell him and tell everyone what a good boy, what a good player he is, then fair enough. But Bergwijn, as one of the guys said, is very similar to Depay, and Depay learned how to be that front 9. He did it for Lyon. He's done it for Holland. He plays it for Holland now. It is possible for Bergwijn, but Bergwijn's 24. Like he's going to have to want to do it, and I'm not sure that's there either. So, yeah, look, it's a tough one because we've sat here before and talked about players need to adapt to this, and players play better in certain situations than others. Bergwijn could easily be one of our wing backs against Rennes and just not be up front. It's there are too many options really.
How's about that for a curveball? Sessegnon up top.
No,
He could play one of the front 3, as he could play the Son or Lucas role, but no, not as the central man. He's not strong enough.
and as you said, John, our front 3 are very narrow. Like you said, they all lined up closer to the D than they did to the touchline. That's not Sessegnon's thing. Like that front 3 is going to be players that are good at keeping the ball at their feet. They can move around, just like the Lucas goal. Really, they got the ball. It was a quick, simple touch round 1. Play it to Son, get the ball back. I think that seems to be what Conte wants in the middle of the pitch. Bergwijn could suit that, but I'm not sure it suits Sessegnon. He's too one-footed for a start.
Markandé?
Yeah, why not?
I think Markandé's. Go on,
Can he
Brent.
play? Is he registered to play? Has he played yet in conference?
Oh yeah, he can play.
He has played. He's already
Why
played.
not?
Played at
Let's bring him on.
Vitesse,
Yeah, he's been banging him in the Premier League too, isn't it? The under 21 league or under 23 league. He won Player of the Month twice, I think, in a row. So why not? Why not? Like we can't keep running Kane into the ground. We can't try and fit round pegs into square holes with Bergwijn. Talking about Bergwijn and Sessegnon playing as a central striker. That's his position. Let's see it. Like what we got to lose.
Well, he's bagging goals in for fun, isn't he? In the under 21s, but so is Dane Scarlett. So you need.
I saw a comment. I mean, probably an hour ago now, about how Jack Clark is being the number 9 for our under 23s right now, and he's playing as a central striker. And you've got Markandé, I think, on the right hand side, kind of cutting in, and I forget who's on the other side, but it's like that kind of option, like Franco's man, Jack Clark. I've always liked Jack Clark when I've seen him play. It'd be weird to see him as a striker, but I saw the goal he scored a couple of days ago at the weekend for the N23s, and he got the ball and moved it onto his left foot and drilled it in the bottom corner. So there's talent there, but yeah, Markandé is probably the likeliest to play against Rennes. I'm sure of that.
We've got 3 good up and coming forwards, haven't we? Markandé, Scarlett, and Parrott. In theory, 3 for the future there. So
Yeah.
hope one of them will make it. I can't imagine 3 or 2 will come through. Maybe one of them.
I'm not convinced we'll see Parrott.
Whatever again.
It's weird because Markandé's the oldest of the 3.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is he?
Markandé's 20, I think. Whereas Parrott's still only 19. I think he turns 20 in February, and then obviously Scarlett's much younger. But yeah, Terry makes a good point. Scarlett has the frame. That's it. It's just the bone structure right now. Markandé looks like he's not going to get any bigger, right? Whatever muscle there is what Markandé is right now.
Yeah.
He's not very big though, is he, stature-wise? I don't think.
5'9" tops. I mean, it looks smaller than that to me, but I don't know this. I'm just guessing, really.
Don't think the narrow 3 is helping.
5'10".
5'10", okay.
No, not short then. Probably average height.
Sorry, Colin.
No, I was just saying. I don't. Craig's made a fair point. I don't think the narrow three is helping Kane. Yeah, you made that point, didn't you, HG?
I've said that all season.
And we haven't
he
really.
did-
Go on, sorry, John.
He did have 4 chances to score at the weekend. He had the chip.
Yeah.
He had the shot that Krul saved really well just for the second goal. He had a header right at the beginning of the second half, which he headed wide, and then I'm sure he had another header which he put straight at Krul later on. So
Sunday
he's got
was the
touches.
Sunday was the best we've seen of that narrow front three all season.
Yeah,
and obviously we got a couple of goals from it as well. But yeah, it's interesting because I think Kane likes to have options that are further away. He's looking for that for to spread the play, so then he can get the ball and run into the box and get on the end of things. The kind of intricate play that we're trying.
Oh, is he gone?
What was he? He's frozen. The kind of intricate play we're trying. Someone finish his sentence, Brendan.
Finish his sentence. What did he say?
The kind of intricate football we're trying.
To play, yeah.
Oh, he's back.
He's back.
Sorry.
I don't know what happened there.
It's probably my wife watching some nonsense that's taking up the bandwidth.
Adrian says, I'm certain that academy players will be on the bench against Rennes. I think that is almost certain.
Starting.
Yeah.
He also said something else. He said about Niall John, and I agree. He's starting to score goals for the under-23s, Niall John, and I think he's a player there.
Niall John is another one of those players that probably needs a loan. They need to get away from the club and play senior football.
He's not Irish, although he sounds Irish. Niall John.
We've signed a player, Charlie Sayers. Southampton United teenager, another one into the pot.
I saw that.
He captained the under-18s at the weekend. They got smashed by somebody.
Oh, really?
Was it Leicester?
He's a left back. He might start.
Got a chance. He's got a chance. I mean, the left back. We sold him to Sunderland, didn't we? The left back we did have that was up and coming, Cirkin.
Well, he wanted to leave. He forced that issue.
He wanted to play regular football, and you can't blame them, right? Like senior football is better than under-23 football. I do believe that. Like Markanday before this season had shown very little at Spurs, so there was probably no team outside no team that maybe wanted to take him on loan. Now he's scored goals at that level. There are teams that want him in January.
There you go. Well, look, we've been going for an hour and a half, and we're probably going to call it a night there, I think. There's just time to mention the pod. Brendan, you're on the pod this week. Pimp it. This is your 30 seconds. Go for it. Watch me listen.
Why should we listen? Because it's a cheesy fucking podcast.
Get in there, Brendan!
We'll be reviewing the Rennes game, whether win, lose or draw. We're looking forward to podding. I'll be with HG and someone else who I haven't asked yet. But yeah, it's going to be good. My second pod since I've been back from Mexico, and looking forward to it.
I can't wait. I love listening to the pod in the car on the way to work. It always makes my day. And if you haven't listened to it before, you should too. Please do like, subscribe, share the show. We're on a growth projection for 3,000 people this week to subscribe to the show. So please do, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. I'm sure I've got a little box for that. Yeah, of course I have. There he is.
Okay.
You're getting it today.
I think I also saw a comment by Sam earlier asking where Shan is. Shan is hoping to be back with us on Friday. She had a bit of a week of work that's been quite hectic. So
bit of a week at work. John, thanks for joining us with your beautiful new cardigan.
My Contigan.
Contigan. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for having me.
HG, as ever, thanks very much.
You're welcome. To tier 1, Cody, more like tier 10. I Googled it. You're wrong. Group G does not go with Group G. I don't know where you got it from, mate, but not true. So sorry, tier 10. We'll hope to have you on the show again soon. But yeah, I enjoyed tonight. I especially enjoyed that last little bit.
HG never takes joy in other people proving other people wrong. Brendan, all the way from Brazil, thanks for showing me how to make a lager dash.
Always a pleasure.
Say it in Mexican, caller. Say it in Mexican.
Spanish.
Until next time.
Cerveza con limón.
Until next time. Vamos a Spurs!
Vamos a Spurs!
Come on, you Spurs!
Oh, I thought you were going to knock me out.